morning. As you finish up lunch, if you will, can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
If not, please raise your hand. We can turn the volume up back there. You want to turn the volume up?
Yeah, why not?
If you have finished lunch, excuse me, please feel free to make your way up to the benches unless you're comfortable there. Then feel free to stand there or to stay there. At this time, I would like to introduce our color guard, and they are joining us from Mitchell High School. I would like everyone to please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. I would like to welcome you this morning. My name is Teresa Love, and I am one of the administrators at Odessa. Our other administrator is Mr. John Thomas, and he is a veteran, so he is out here sitting among you. I would like to welcome each and every one of you to today's ceremony. I would like to thank you for attending. Happy Veterans Day to each and every one of you. We're here today to honor you. We're here to honor our service members and to remember the sacrifices that each and every one of you have made and the courage that it has taken and continues to take to defend our country. We're here today to honor our heroes, to remember your achievements and your courage and your dedication, and to say thank you for your sacrifices. It is you who has protected us as a nation. It is you who has fought and continues to fight for our freedom. And it is you who allows us to live in the best country, and a free country at that, and a country that we call America. We can't put a price on that freedom. The service members we honor today are from all walks of life, but share some very fundamental qualities. You possess courage, pride, determination, selflessness, dedication to duty, and integrity. All the qualities needed to serve a cause much larger than you. Many of you didn't ask to leave your homes and to fight in distant battlefields. Many didn't even volunteer. You didn't go to war because you loved fighting. You were called to be something bigger, bigger than ourselves, bigger than yourself. You're ordinary people, and you have responded in extraordinary ways. And you've responded in extreme times. You rose to the nation's call because you wanted to protect our nation, which has given us so much. And for that, we thank you. At this time, I would like to introduce to you our guest speaker, and I would like to tell you a little bit about our guest speaker before she comes up. Our guest speaker is Lieutenant Colonel Elizabeth Evans, and I feel very privileged to even read her bio that she has prepared. And I'm going to put glasses on. Lieutenant Colonel Evans began her military career when she graduated, and she received her commission from the United States Military Academy at West Point in May of 2000. She attended the Engineer Officer Basic course in the fall of 2000 and was assigned to the 20th Engineer Battalion, 1st Cavalry Division at Fort Hood as an engineer platoon leader. Following her time as a platoon leader and company executive officer with the 20th Engineer Battalion, Lieutenant Colonel Evans was selected as the Engineer Brigade Adjutant in 2002. In 2003, Lieutenant Colonel Evans was selected for command of the Headquarters Company and 123rd Terrain Detachment, 1st Cavalry Division Engineer Brigade. Following her company's 15th month deployment in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom II, Lieutenant Colonel Evans returned to Fort Hood in 2005 and transitioned from active duty to the Florida National Guard. In 2006, Lieutenant Colonel Evans was selected for command of the 269th Engineer Company in Live Oak, Florida. During her tenure in Live Oak, Lieutenant Colonel Evans successfully led the company on 2 overseas training missions in Hohenfels, Germany, and Sotocano, Honduras. In 2009, Lieutenant Colonel Evans was again selected for command, this time commanding the Headquarters Company, Camp Landing Joint Training Center. Following this command in late 2011, Lieutenant Colonel Evans was assigned to the 53rd Infantry Brigade Combat Team as the Brigade Engineer. In 2012, Lieutenant Colonel Evans was by name requested to return to active duty as the Executive Officer to the Deputy Commanding General of Military and International Operations, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, located in Washington, D.C. Following the completion of this assignment in 2013, Lieutenant Colonel Evans returned to the Florida National Guard as the 53rd Brigade Special Troops Battalion Operations Officer. At the conclusion of the brigade's Explorable Combat Training Capability exercise in July of 2014, Lieutenant Colonel Evans assumed command of the 53rd Brigade Special Troops Battalion located in Pinellas Park, Florida. Lieutenant Colonel Evans is a graduate of the Advanced Operations course, the Intermediate Level Education course, the Engineer Captain's Career course, and the Engineer Officer Basic course. She holds a master's degree in Management and Leadership from Webster University and a Bachelor's of Science degree in Civil Engineering from the United States Military Academy at West Point. Lieutenant Colonel Evans is active in several organizations to include serving as the Secretary for the West Point Society of North Florida, the Treasurer for the Florida National Guard Foundation, the class scribe for the West Point class of 2000, and a volunteer group leader for the 26.2 with Donna Calloway Marathon Training Program in St. Augustine. We welcome Lieutenant Colonel Evans.
my command here in Tampa when we came in, and I said, gosh, I'm finally at that point where I see kids that are in school, and I say, gosh, look how young they look. So, with that, I have to give you a little bit of a disclaimer. Captain Lackey, Mike Lackey, asked me to speak a few weeks ago at this event, and one thing that I have never done before is speak to children. I have a niece and nephew, and I've spoken to them about certain things like values in life and what it means to be a soldier, but the idea of addressing a group of kids about Veterans Day was a little bit overwhelming to me. So I put together remarks as if I was addressing a group of kids. So now that I have adults mixed into this, please bear with me as some of these might be a little bit more focused to the kids today. So, Mr. Thomas and Mrs. Love, thank you very much for asking me to come here today. I think it's important on Veterans Day that we treat today as a celebration. This is not Memorial Day. This is a day where we celebrate all of our service to the country. It's a pretty neat thing on Veterans Day that you get to meet all sorts of veterans. Some of them who you might not even know are a veteran that happen to be among us. You know, that's kind of an interesting thing because once you serve in the military, there comes to a point when you take off the uniform and you look like everyone else. But there's something different, something special about you, inside of you, that you project onto other people that people know that you're a veteran. So I know we're going to do some recognitions today, and I don't want anyone to be a little overwhelmed with all of the recognitions, but today's the day when it happens. So if you are a veteran in our audience today, would you please stand up for a second?
Stand up.
All right, let's give our veterans a round. Now here's the next exercise. Here's the military lights exercise. So if you have a parent, if you're a kid, you have a parent or a brother or a sister who's a veteran, will you please stand up? All right, now let's give them a round of applause. Okay, so with that exercise, we probably all learned something new. There was probably somebody that stood up that you didn't know was a veteran. You had maybe a classmate or a friend here at school that you didn't know that someone in their family had served in the military. Today is our day to celebrate them. It is our day to thank them for the service they have given to this country. Our veterans have volunteered to serve our country, and with that comes a lot of sacrifices. Whether it was weekends away at training or trips overseas, every veteran has given up time away from home and loved ones. If you have a veteran in your family, you've made sacrifices too. You've had to be strong when your veteran has been away at training, and you've had to hold up the fort until they came back. Whether that was a short time or a long time, you were a part of making that veteran successful. Veterans Day is about celebrating all of the sacrifices our veterans have made so that we could continue to live freely in America. So for me and my fellow veterans, it's kind of like having an extra birthday. We don't get presents, but we get that same feeling inside like when it's your birthday. Everyone sees you and says thank you. Every person I walked by coming in this morning said thank you for my service. Everyone celebrates what you have done for America. Sometimes you get cards in the mail or letters on your table when you sit down to lunch, somebody thanking you for what you have done. So let me tell you a little bit about me and why I love serving in the Army and what it means to me to be a veteran and a soldier. I didn't always know that I wanted to be in the Army. When I was your age, elementary school, middle school, and even into high school, the only thing that was important to me was going to school, going outside and playing with my friends. And I knew in the back of my head that I wanted to grow up to be something big, but I didn't quite know what that was. When I got a little bit older and into high school, I really spent a lot of time playing tennis. That was a very fun game to me, and I loved it so much that I wanted to figure out a way how to play tennis in college. Well, I found out that the Army had a tennis team. They had a tennis team at this place called West Point. I could go to college, I could be something bigger, and I could play tennis at the same time. See, there's some interesting stuff about the Army that you might not know. You get to spend a lot of time outdoors, you get to travel to a lot of interesting places, even some places you get to live are pretty cool, just like Mrs. Love said that I've lived in Texas. So after I moved from Texas, I had to spend 6 months in Japan as an exchange officer and work with the Japanese. And then at some point, I had to spend some time in the Middle East, and then eventually I came here to Florida. I've traveled to over 15 different countries with the Army. I've met a lot of great people, and my closest friends I've met have been during my time in the Army. There have been times when I've been scared, there have been times where I wanted to quit, but always inside of me, there was this feeling that people depended on me, and because of that, I kept going. That's the neat thing about the Army. It's like being on one big team. Everyone helps each other out. Everyone looks out for each other, and together we are America's team. Even today, some of the other soldiers I work with are here to celebrate with you. They brought their trucks, they volunteered their time on their day off because they wanted to spend it with you and show you what veterans are all about. They work hard day in and day out to make sure that our team is the strongest team that there is. They put in a lot of long hours, they work on weekends, sometimes even when they don't want to, and all along the way they never complain and ask, Colonel Evans, what can we do better, what can we do more? We want to make sure that every night when we go to sleep, that we gave that day our very best. And we know that when we wake up in the morning, that the Army is stronger, our country is stronger, because we are working hard to protect the citizens of America. And you might ask yourself, why do we do this? Why do we make all these sacrifices? We do it because we want our country, we want America to continue to be the strongest country there is and for our world to be a safer place. So on this Veterans Day, I want each of you to think about all of the great things that America has to offer that other people don't have in other places. We have great places to go to school, like Odessa. We have our freedoms to grow up and be anyone we want to in life. If you want to grow up and be an astronaut and go to the moon, you can do that in America. If you want to grow up and be a nurse, a doctor, a policeman, a fireman, the sky is the limit. You can do anything you put your mind to. The only thing you have to do is work hard, treat others with respect, and keep reaching for your goals. So on this Veterans Day, make sure you find at least one veteran and say thank you. I promise you, you'll get a huge smile from that veteran because you just made their day, just like me coming here today to talk to you has made mine. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Would also like to present you with the certificate of appreciation. Thank you. I'm going to ask Colonel Evans to stay up here with me at the podium, and she is going to help me, recognize each and every one of you. And I'm getting notes given to me. What we're going to do is we are going to use the cards that you completed, these little ones. In fact, I'm going to ask right now, is there any veteran or active duty personnel who did not complete one of these little cards? If so, raise your hand. Awesome, fantastic. I think everyone has completed one. We're going to, I'll read a group of them, and then we're going to applaud for those people, and then Lieutenant Colonel Evans will read a group of them, and we'll applaud for those. That way you are able, and everyone else is able, to hear what we're reading. So all that to say, please hold your applause in between people, okay? We have our Sun Lake High School our River Ridge, sorry about that, cheerleaders here, and they are going to help recognize you. When we call your name, we're asking that you stand, and you stand while we read the information on the card. One of our cheerleaders will come to you and give you a small token of appreciation from Odessa. Okay. So I'm going to start with my little father. Oh, isn't that neat? And so you're going to role model that. So all you're going to do is I'm going to recognize him and he's going to stand. So George Smith, The branch of service that he was in is the Navy, years of service 2, and his highest rank was pharmacist mate 3rd class. Tony Kearns, U.S. Army, years of service 10, highest rank, specialist. Sarah Maggie, right here. U.S. Navy, years of service 14, highest rank, Chief E7. And no breakout. Back in the back. U.S. Navy, 5 years of service. Highest rank was AMH2, 2nd class, petty officer. Robert Brown. Robert Brown.
Not you, Brown.
U.S. Navy, 3 years of service. I practiced this word. I know what it means because you wrote a little cheat. Look, I'm in education. I should be able to say this. Aerographer. Is that correct? Close?
Aerographer.
Aerographer. And my tongue doesn't do that. And that means that you were a weatherman at the air station in North Africa, 3rd class. Correct? Michael Lackey. Right over here. Army, years of service 20, and he's a captain. John Thomas, one of our other administrators. U.S. Army and Florida National Guard, 8 years, Staff Sergeant. Justin Snodgrass, U.S. Army, 8 years, Staff Sergeant. James Burnside. Where's Mr. Burnside? Branch, U.S. Army, 11 years, Sergeant.
All right. Shannon Bridges, Army, 13 years, Staff Sergeant. Melanie Knight, Army, 11 years, Staff Sergeant. Gennaro Scarfocalero. All right, U.S. Air Force, 6 years, Sergeant. Edward Estep, Army, 20 years, Sergeant 1st class. Jack Higginbotham, Army, 13 years, Staff Sergeant. Mary Clay, RN, Navy, 4 years, Ensign. John Michael Wright, Air Force, 21 years, Lieutenant Colonel. Larry Levy, Army, 4 years, 1969 to 71, Vietnam, Sergeant E5. Frank Rosenberger, Army, 2 years, E5 Specialist. William Rasmussen, Army, 28 years, Colonel. Vincent Kiesel, Air Force, 2 years, Major. James Myers, U.S. Army, 26 years, Master Sergeant. BJ Cook, Navy, 3.5 years, Lieutenant.
Buster Elks, Army, 3 years, Sergeant. Lou Fletcher, Army, from 1953 to 56, Sergeant First Class. This is Mr. D. We call him Mr. D, and he is one of our substitutes, and I don't think he's in here. Mr. D, are you in here? He's in the music room. Okay, so he's subbing, and he was in the U.S. Army Reserves for 6 years as a sergeant. So let me take Howard Barnes Jr. in the Army, 4 years, E5. Richard A. Middleton Jr., Army, 17 years, Staff Sergeant. Claude Rice, Army, 2.5 years, Corporal. Gene Freshler, Air Force, 24 years, E8 Senior Master Sergeant. Donald Freshler, Air Force, 20 years, E7 Master Sergeant. Bill Reddick, Marine, 2 years, E5. Tracy Matthews, Army, 3 years, PFC. Bill Reddick, Marine Corps, 4 years, Corporal. Jacob Bassett, U.S. Army, 13 years, Second Lieutenant.
James McBreen, Navy, 4 years, Second Class Petty Officer. Gary Banlow, Navy, 4 years, E5. Douglas Grimley, Navy, 20 years, Chief Culinary Specialist, Surface Warfare. Vincent Vinciotti, Army, 2 years, Sergeant. Luis Vargas, Army, 6 years, Specialist. Marcus Rodriguez, Air Force, currently serving since 2007, Staff Sergeant, Technical Sergeant Select. Dan Dillon, Marine, 4 years, Corporal. Robert Clark, Navy, 4 years, 65 to 69, Petty Officer. Stephen Miller, Army, 86 to 94, Sergeant, E5. Jeffrey Dudley, Army, 2001 to 2003, E4 Specialist. Werner Saradine, Army, 2 years. Ryan Turner, Army, 3 years, Specialist. Or sergeant. Clyde Lochi, Army, 67 to 69, E7.
Chris Robinson, Army, 10 years, Sergeant, Staff Sergeant. Joseph and Harry Singer, Navy and Army, First World War and Second World War. David F. Armis, U.S. Marine Corps, 4 years, Corporal. Dale Strand, Army, 3 years, 1943 to 45, Corporal. Rob Van Brocklin, Coast Guard, 8 years, Petty Officer 3rd Class. Jason Rawlings, U.S. Air Force, retired, 15 years, Wounded Warrior, Technical Sergeant. Ricky Miller, Army, 30 years, Spec 5. Edgar Grabowski, Air Force, 5 years, Senior Airman. Joseph Rumor, Marine Corps, 4 years, 66 to 1970, Corporal, E4. Randy Harper, United States Marine Corps, 2 years as a corporal and served in Vietnam. Robert Ryan, Army, 2 years, PFC. Larry Dean, U.S. Army, 1968 to 1972, E5.
Tom Lackey, Air Force, 1966 to 70, E6. Will Flores, Coast Guard, 1988 to 2010, E8, Senior Chief. Jamie Snap, Air Force, 2 years, E3. Nelson Roman, Army, 1969 to 1971, E5.
Let me give one big round of applause for all of our veterans. Thank you so very much. I do not like to go off of a script, and I have this nice program that you have, and it's scripted. And I don't like scripts because scripts mess me up. And so I got messed up, so I'm owning this. I tell my staff, own your mistakes, so I'm owning my mistakes. So I want to back up, and if you will look in your program, you will see where it says a tribute to the armed services on the left-hand side. So I want to back up and take a moment. I want to introduce our 2 music instructors who are with us here today, Ms. Monica Duquette and Ms. Danielle Brooks. And our Odessa Chorus. Thank you. So for a moment, I'm going to go off the script because that's what I like to do. And Mr. Thomas is looking at me like, oh no, what's she going to say? What's she going to do? That's the fun part. Okay, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to talk to you guys because we've been honoring our veterans and today is their day. Is it not?
Yes.
Okay. And you guys have been a big part of it, and I apologize to you that I forgot to introduce you at the very beginning. But you all have been a very, very big part of their celebration, and your voices were beautiful. Thank you for a wonderful job. So boys and girls, I want you to think, seriously for a moment, think about our veterans. Think about our active duty personnel who are out there. And I want you to realize, and I want you to understand that they truly fight for our freedoms. That does not mean that they are physically fighting. Yes, there are times where they are. And there are times where they're fighting in planes, but they're fighting with intelligence also. And they, every day, get up and do their jobs, and they live their jobs so you can come to Odessa. So you can go to the mall. So you can ride to school on a bus or a car or walk or on your bike. You have that freedom to do so. And there are a lot of countries, boys and girls your age, they don't have those freedoms. They can't do the things that you take for granted. Like you probably don't think twice about pulling out one of your games, right? Your iPhone, or any of your games, your iPad, your notebook. You pull those out without thinking twice. And there are a lot of countries where boys and girls your age, they don't have any of those freedoms whatsoever. They don't know where they're going to get their next meal. And you all have that in America. You have those freedoms. You don't have to worry about where your head is going to be placed tonight. You know it's going to be on your pillow, in your bedroom, in your house, and you're going to wake up tomorrow morning and have breakfast and come to Odessa again, right? But because of these people, we have those freedoms in America. So I just want you to think about that. I want to thank you for being a part of this, but I don't want you to ever forget what they do for our country. And when you see a man or woman in uniform, or even with a hat on, a lot of times a hat that might say Army, Navy, Marines, or a shirt, I'm a veteran, stop and thank them. Thank them for leaving their homes, for leaving America and going on other grounds and other territory to fight for our freedom. Will you do that for me? Awesome. Thank you. This is going to conclude that we have next steps, our program. But before we do that, well, let me finish. I would like to thank you on behalf of Odessa Elementary for serving and continuing to serve for our freedom. Thank you very much. What we're going to do next in just a moment is we are going to invite you to join in a parade. And our parade will exit through the door behind these risers. And we will escort you, and we're going to, for those of you who were here last year, we're going to do the same thing except for the very end. We are going to go down one hallway and up the next hallway. Our boys and girls at Odessa, 930 of them, 931 probably, of them want to thank you. They have left letters, they've written letters on their own. We did not edit those letters, so we know there are misspellings in there, and that's okay. Feel free to take any of those letters, they're for you. They want to thank you. They want to applaud you. They want to acknowledge you. They have flags that they're waving in honor and respect of you. So we ask that you will please consider joining us. It's a nice parade. And at the very end, we are going to ask that you come to our covered shelter, and our River Ridge High School cheerleaders are going to do a performance for you. So we ask that you will join us in that. Again, thank you on behalf of Odessa Elementary. to introduce our River Ridge varsity cheerleader team, and they will be doing a performance for you, and their coach is right here, Mr. Jeffrey Graham. Thank you.
Children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. But I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA. There's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Thank you so much, you guys. That was absolutely fantastic. If you did not get your picture taken in the cafeteria when you came in, we invite you to do so. Cheerleaders, we'd be more than happy to get your pictures too. We'd love to. This does conclude our performance. We thank you so much, and happy Veterans Day to each and every one of you.